Welcome back to the channel, people. So today we're going to get the real talk, unfiltered, on working a shift job and getting involved in the politics, but the nonsense what actually happened, because I enjoy working, right? So let's just understand that I'm not against working. So it's just the people and the environment sometimes is not the best one because of the communication and also the people who are in hierarchy of control. It's easy for me to say that, you know, they don't know what they're talking about. They talk shit, blah, blah, blah. But it needs to be backed up with facts, innit? And that's the reason why I kind of make some videos sometimes, which is to highlight the things which goes on behind closed doors, which people don't see. So my understanding of me working a shift, I have a role to do as a mechanical engineer. My role is to obviously report, make safe, and do PPMs, right? If the PPMs, which is the planned prevention maintenance, is not scheduled or not organised or has no equipment to do so, which the task might require you to change a filter, it might require you to check a valve, turn something off. If those parameters are not in place, you actually have to organise it all yourself. That's what like being on a shift is like. Oftenly I was asked to do stuff which I know have never been done before, and if we do it correctly, following the guidelines which are set out, so there's always a set out which tells you what to do. You know, you're cleaning the filter, you're going to check the traps, you're going to check this, you're going to do that, you're going to check the belt for wear and tear. If you have no belts, what are you going to do? That oftenly happened, and even when that didn't happen, the changing of the filters, which was priority in certain environments, especially the last one, what you saw me do 72 hours in, it's hard for me to say what we're doing, you know, because you're babysitting in a nutshell. But to babysit, you must be able to repair at some point, because things break down, innit? It's an understanding what happens. But on top of that, you got to deal with the politics, which might be people telling you about others, individuals inside the workplace who are not pulling their weight, who are not part of the team, right? And from my eyes, I'm just trying to be a person that comes to work, does the work, cracks on, goes home. That's my only plan. It's not to get involved, because I understand me getting involved takes me away from my goal, which is money, right? And I don't want that. I want to be able to make money. I want to be in an environment which is okay. I know everything is not perfect. You have some ups and your downs, but the communicating with management or supervisors and stuff like that is necessary, because I don't know what goes on inside the office, because I'm not in the office. I work in the field, so to say, or where the areas where they require me to work. But when you give back feedback to be obviously to make the workplace work a little bit better, sometimes people get uptight, you know, so I don't. I choose not to. I choose not to give feedback when someone asks me, oh, why wasn't you able to fix that cartridge? Well, you keep all the stocks and the materials away, locked up. So when we're working on the weekend or the nights, it's not available for us to be able to access. So I have to write that down on a sheet. Granted, when you write stuff down on sheets a lot of the times, a lot of these places, guess what? No one fucking checks it. No one reads through. It's like they can't read. They don't read no books or nothing, but they definitely don't read what you write in your notes. And that's concerning to me, because we're going over the same problems time and time after again. And what people highlight is a problem. When you try to rectify it, it's like, oh, no, we can't do it that way. But I'm giving you a solution. But when you give people no solutions, it seems like you have no input inside the workplace. I tried to give as much input as possible and tell people about when the red flags were happening. But I realised to myself, They don't give a fuck. They don't care. It doesn't mean that I have to have the same attitude. It just allows me to realize that this place isn't a place that wants to get better at what they're doing. I once called out to these people and said, oh, there's no salt in the softener system. So they had a water treatment system which was for the hot weld, which is a steam boiler. I worked on these things daily, and I had previous experience in working on these before, so I had a good understanding how they worked. And when I tried to explain it to someone who was another engineer on that site, he was like, no, it doesn't work like that. I'm like, well, how does it work? And I wasn't questioning his ability. I was questioning for him to tell me a different way which is not available on the internet and no one's never heard of it before. So I was interested. Again, he couldn't tell me, but this wasn't a thing of like me trying to get at you or nothing like that. I'm trying to understand and make sense of what you're saying to me, because what you are saying to me doesn't make any sense. It's the truth, and obviously at that point I realised that person is not well educated or well versed in that subject. But I don't think they was a qualified tradesperson anyway. They had just known stuff on quick fixes. There was like a handyman on steroids, if you get what I mean. Like, they knew how to fix a few things, but they didn't know the reason why this turned off or the reason how to fix that, which was alarming in itself, because you're in a place of control and you're in a place of authority. You're the lead engineer. I wasn't the lead engineer on the site or on that shift in particular. Understandably, it would be them because they'd been at the site longer than me, and that's where their full-time job was, right? I thought it was an okay environment because people kind of stayed out of your business, but what I found was that there was more chatty patties there than EastEnders and Hollyoaks. They were standing outside drinking tea, chatting shit, but that's what people do. Again, if people don't see me do that and I don't socialise with people, it's just because I want to get on with my work or want to get on with my filming. Either way, I didn't let my filming or what I was doing get involved with doing the jobs. I'm a strong believer of going to work and doing a good job and just doing what people ask you to do. It's not hard, it's not difficult. And when problems do arise, you think you know how to deal with this because you've had previous experiences. I've had a lot of building services experience. I used to be a maintenance engineer. I used to be the lead engineer for a residential site, and it was for multi-millionaires, isn't it? So that's maintenance at its highest. They're gonna want everything done, and I was able to do that nicely. So in a hospital environment, I mean, I'm going backwards on myself, but a job's a job, and that was where I was at. And I thought to myself, this will be a lot easier for me to control because, all the blame doesn't fall down to me. My responsibilities, yes, are the steam boilers. My responsibilities are fan coils. My responsibilities are FCUs and anything mechanical, right? And with the odd electrical job, which I can do inside those environments, I felt comfortable and competent to do because I'd done them before. Whether it's something like a nurse call bell, whether it's changing a fuse or changing actually the buttons themselves. Like you pull out, the hand control, whatever they're called, nurse call bells. If you've had any experience in the hospital, you understand what I mean. But the structure of how the workplace is laid out doesn't always work because there's not an understanding of, and this is what the problem was like, you're on the shift, but you're not supposed to be doing the day jobs. The shift is supposed to be doing them. But what they do is anyone who's on shift, you go to the jobs immediately, but the people who work there full time don't go to them jobs because they're doing PPMs. I think that was right. But it was just a weird setup, if you get what I mean. Some places, they don't gel for you because people are not organised. And I don't think it's bad for me to want to be in somewhere where it's a little bit more organised. There's a little bit more people who understand what they're doing. You know, it's not a super dig at those people. I realised that they didn't know what they was talking about when I spoke to them the first couple of times, to be honest with you. And you make your assumption, innit? And from my assumption, I kept my distance because I realised that this workplace is not organised, and that will be a big problem for me, you know. And I don't want it to be a problem because I want to get on and I want to just do work, come in and smooth sell, you know, stay away from politics, stay away from nonsense, just report things as they happen and escalate them. Because when people understand that you're a person who report problems and sort them out if you can, but obviously make them aware, you're obviously doing inclusion, innit? So including them, including yourself. In my eyes, that's what you should be doing. But sometimes it's not good enough for some people, which hey, I've made a video before about losing your job before, and it's not the end of the world, you know. I didn't lose my job in that point. I'll be corrected and tell you that the contract ended, but at that present time they offered me like an extension. But what it was the people broke down in communication and told me, oh, well, you know, the job what you're going for, we actually still have someone who's at the job at the moment, but we can't put the job out there. What you'll have to do is look online and see when the job pops up. That's not the first conversation we had. The first conversation we had was, we'd like to keep you on and we'd like to X, Y, and Z. So that's why I thought my position there was going to be solid. And again, I kind of didn't mind traveling. Some of the other parts to the job I accepted, because at some point you got to come to a level of acceptancy with shit's not fucking perfect, but here what? We're here now, innit? And you deal with what's there, which is whatever problems they are. Again, I just kept it moving, and I always will keep it moving when it comes to certain things like that. But it hasn't put me off of working a shift job, because prior to that, shifts, I thought, nah, it's not for me. But it's good money at the end of the day. That's the reality. And the reality why I do a lot of these jobs is for the money purposes. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let's make a series for others to see the reality of working a shift. Again, I don't like to be the person who talks negative about any of these environments, because it's my experience, and it wasn't all negative, but there was parts of it which were negative, which I always like to be clear with my community, because anyone could come across these things, you know. It's not just me, it's you, it's your brother, it's your mum, people that work these, you know how it is. But I would say it was a relaxed environment though, very relaxed. I think I would go for something like that again, because it kind of suits what I'm doing at the moment. It allowed me to have time to myself. Messes up your time schedule, obviously, with if you want to do something socially with your girl or something like that. You got work all the time. But one thing I wasn't in that situation was, I wasn't a person who turned down my shift. I turned up to every single shift. I made sure that I done, let's say, about 8 or 10 days overtime, sometimes 8 days in a month. So it's good bank. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm here to earn money. I'm not really here for anything else. You know, the politics does come, but I've realised over the time that to stay away from that, and to stay away from the negative conversations which do happen inside the workplace. But my take on it is just, I don't take these people seriously. We've made some great content from it. I've still got some videos what you guys have not seen, which I will be putting out on my page. So I appreciate everyone watching the 72 hours working, because they were inspired by other people who I see working at night. And I've never done any type of series on my YouTube channel where I talk and I tell you what it's like for me to work, because even as a plumber working at night, I didn't think it was something I would ever do, but it's not something I would ever turn off now. I will use it as an option because I know it's an option there. And I feel that me telling my personal experiences and how I feel about a lot of these situations gives a lot of people clarity and lets them know it's not so bad. It isn't so bad. I think you get to see the people who you work with less, which is good. You're in for a certain amount of days. I think it's like 14 or 15 days, and the rest is nights, or even less than that. I can't remember, but it's a low number, put it that way. So it is something I would consider, but it's something I would tell others to consider with caution because of working hours, because of the environment, because of your own deprivation or your own lack of sleep. Yeah, it's not for everybody, you know. But yeah, if you want to make money, it's perfect. But I forgot to tell you at the beginning, I need you guys to subscribe, like, and share, because this is me just telling you about some of my experiences. It's not been bad. It's been quite good. I made money. That was the goal. And as long as I'm sticking to the goal, then there's nothing to grumble about at all, because it's all about peas, people. I'd like to know your opinions on working shifts. What's been your biggest ick? What's been the biggest problem for you working a continental shift, which is days and nights, 4 on, 4 off? I'm interested, yeah, because my thoughts from it was okay. I've been doing it for the last year or so. I wasn't able to film at some of the other places where I was working shifts because I thought it was too bait. I feel that it's places where people are gonna like report it, so I don't do it there. I done it at a place where I thought was fine. So I want to know what you thought about it, because there's quite a lot of you who have watched 72 hours working as a mechanical engineer. But keep subscribing, liking, sharing, and I'll keep dropping these vids for you guys and girls. Let me know in the comment section below, what's your ick, man? I want to know. Subscribe.